Green light? Yeah. Why is that so shiny right there?
Where?
Okay, it is 8:30. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first thing on the agenda this morning is the start of the budget hearings. Nope,
Budget presentations?
this is the
We're not
budget
hearings.
presentations. And we will start with Superior Court.
I heard someone say they'd like to get done early today, so I should help with that. I don't have any changes from last year's budget except for the drug court coordinator. That's always been paid through a grant through DOC, and they've been cutting that back slowly every year. Lucky for us, but not so lucky for community corrections. They took the brunt of it this year, so I think we have the same award that we had last year. And I think, Kathy can correct me, I think the shortfall is less than 5,000 still
Not with all the benefits and,
with the benefits. It's
Yeah.
not. Okay, but I think it's been discussed before that the shortfall would come out of the probation supplemental user fee fund. If I have that correct, which is Fund 2101?
correct.
Okay. So that's the only kind of hiccup that I have in the budget. Otherwise, everything is the same as last year, except for obviously wages, if you would so graciously give them a cost of living raise. That would be appreciated, I'm sure, by all the county employees. Although I do want to say, I think you guys have been very generous in the past, and I want to thank you for that because, it's, what groceries cost and everything out there nowadays, and so I know our employees really appreciate that. I don't know if you want me to go through this fund by fund, but like I said, nothing's changed.
Did anybody have any questions?
I have one. So your drug court coordinator, it looks like it's in Fund 9160, I think.
What page are you on?
I'm on page 25 in our book, but I don't think
Okay.
that's her page number. My question is, you have the coordinator there, but you didn't do anything for the benefits lines like FICA, but then in Fund 2101, those increase. So I'm just wondering if those go together.
Yes, that's what she was just saying. We've moved the benefits to 2101.
But we left that
All the
one.
grant money that we can, and then the
Okay.
benefits are moved to 2101.
Okay, I wasn't keeping up with all that quickly, sorry. Okay, so yes.
In our grant application, we had it all together, but we didn't get enough money, so.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
And that is the same on the Fund 9164, page 26. We used all grant money just for straight wages, and then the benefits were moved to county general probation.
Right, so, yes, we have one probation officer paid through that same fund, so same thing happened with that one last year. We had to make up the shortfall through other budgets. I didn't calculate what his shortfall was.
We've put the numbers in here already. So it's included on page 14, it would be in the, no, it's in county general, so it'd be in the commissioner's budget, I'm sorry. But we're using up every penny of the grant that we can.
Okay, so it's not being painted out of probation, it'll be out of commissioner's budget.
It's county general, correct, so the benefits are paid from the commissioner's lines in
Okay.
county general.
different than the drug court coordinator?
Yes. So drug court coordinator, we were using, maybe I have them backwards.
No, you've got him listed under
2101.
2101.
Okay. And so then, yes, the probation officers, we have his coming out of county general, his FICA Medicare perf. Then
We can't use the 2101 for him.
we might be able to. Is it appropriate use for that fund, supplemental probation?
Well, he's a
We can
probation
do-
officer, so
We can do that.
I'm just, I know we found out there's quite a bit of money in there.
There is quite a bit in there. Okay,
It's a suggestion. They don't want it to come out of county general.
we can do that.
But I want to say it's roughly about the same shortfall. Because I think they're about the same as far as years of service.
One might be a little higher. One of the grants is just a little bit higher than the other one. One's like 51 and one's 56. But yes, we definitely can do the calculations to put the probation officer's benefits out of 2101 as well.
Yeah, it didn't mix that. So probation, their grant award was $51,660 for that probation officer. Drug court coordinator is $56,181. So, no difference there.
So I've got a question. The adult probation administration, the budget is at 28,900 for that whole line item, that fund. But yet, in 25, we only spent 7,600. Reasons for, the year before it was 17,000. In 24, it was 7,000 in 25, and we've got it in at 28.9. Is there a reason it needs to be that high? If we're not spending it, or is there possibilities that we can? Is that why it's there? It's Fund 2000.
Well, a big part of that is drug testing, and I will tell you, I've expended all my other accounts, so I've been paying all the drug testing on that, so, you can add another 12,000 onto that.
Yeah, because I see one year it's really high, and then another year it's lower, and then it's back up, so that's bounces mainly drug testing. Is,
And so I try
Somewhat.
to use my grants up and user fees before I then switch over into the probation and
Yep.
county
Yep.
general, so that 12,000 will get used up yet this year. I also think probably that 2,500 for the GED will get sent to somewhere.
okay.
I don't know why they haven't used seminars and training and travel mileage, so we'll need to see what account they're using, because I know they've gone to training, so.
Okay. Does anybody have any more questions for the judge? All right, do you have anything more for us? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and that covered everything in that first area, right? Okay. So I think next, the LaGrange County ARC. Deb?
No, you got
sorry,
parks,
parks, sorry.
parks and recreation.
I was looking wrong here.
It's close.
I'm tempted to touch this.
Don't touch it. Even a note on it, don't touch it.
Almost reached for it. annual presentation. This year, there really isn't a lot that's different. A couple items, we're trying to get our secretary, her salary up to what it probably ought to be. That's, what, 10100, 10100. That's Emily, and we're trying to get her salary up, so that's probably a little out of whatever you're expecting to give county employees. Otherwise, we're happy with whatever you do. I agree with the judge that you've been very generous in helping us in the past. We do have a couple items that are just, I don't think they're worth doing other than just saying that it's there. There's a line item on gas and oil, which we expect price to go up, so gas and oil. Also, there's a couple of repair lines where we do some repairs and things like that are going to be costing us more, so that's pretty straightforward. There's one on building equipment and repairs, which is 30501. Again, they're just the kind of things we expect with the increase of expenses and gas and oil. I think they're pretty much self-explanatory, and things really haven't changed other than some things I'll mention in just a little bit. I was also, I asked Terry about presenting a line item that's a separate sheet that involves capital purchases, which I believe is commissioner's budget. And those are a mower, a pole barn, and a parking lot resurfacing, which is $199,000. That's a separate thing, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know if that's yours or it's theirs, but
That'd be in your cume cap development, page 5. Parks
How
is the line
often-
in there.
How often do you have to resurface? How often do you have to resurface? Like, what's in your budget for Pine Knob? I'm just curious how many years?
That would be repairing probably. I don't think it's ever been redone. They just used and sealed it back in '05.
Okay, so a while.
Nothing's been done to it since.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
The letter is 5G.
Okay, I saw it there.
so just highlighting the things that are going on in the parks. I don't know if you've been past David Rogers Park lately, but if you haven't been by there, there's flowers everywhere.
Yeah.
And just so I don't think I'll get my daughter-in-law in trouble. She went over and picked flowers. I thought maybe that'd be against the law, and I told her as a park president I could give her permission to go pick flowers. But I know as a fact that she's not the only person that's gone over there and picked flowers out of there. So also, for the last couple of years, we've done the Christmas lights thing, and that's getting bigger and bigger, and more involved and more expensive. And I think it's been a lot been done by donations and things. We have repairs that are going on and the playground equipment at Adult Church Park. We're doing some improvement of the playground equipment at Dallas Lake, and there's 2 pickleball courts that we've just put in. We're all fenced up and ready to use. So kind of expanded our ideas of what we could do for the public, because we in the past have kind of steered away from maintenance stuff like basketball courts and baseball fields and things like that. But there was room, and just to give you some kind of idea, I went by there one time because we're trying to figure out what we could do to make that area more usable. And we were talking about maybe improving the playground equipment. And when I went there, there was a big family there, and all of the playground equipment wasn't being used, but all the kids were in the back playing soccer. And I thought, we got a bunch of grass there. We could maybe put some pickleball courts and bring in the adults which would then bring the kids, and we could have the playground equipment used more. So that's basically how that ended up happening. And I just think, we're doing some really cool things. I'm really proud of our system, and I think you can be proud of it. And Karen's been faithfully coming and giving us advice, which I think is kind of nice. Your presence in our meeting is appreciated.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, the Park Non-Reverting Operating Fund, Trail of Lights, 15,000 in the budget. Is that mainly donations coming in? Okay,
So far, it's all been donations.
that's what I thought. Okay.
You've always been very receptive to our needs. I appreciate it a lot.
We have a great Parks Department.
Yes, we are very proud of our park system in LaGrange County.
They're the ones doing it. We just rubber stamp some of it.
So, so on the administrative assistant communications, is that a 40-hour a week job? Okay. So you're looking at a 13% increase for her to get, okay, now how does that coordinate with the event planner? I mean, I'm sure they're two separate, but can you explain a little bit the need for the both of them?
So, yeah, it's two different positions. We have, Emily is she does our bookkeeping, our receptionist work, our graphic design, everything. Then Jen plans all the events and goes and does the events. She was at Pine Knob all day yesterday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. doing an archery tournament, so. But Emily's she's in the office doing everything. She does amazing work. If anybody sees our Facebook page or our website, she does all that, all of our brochures and everything.
Because I just glanced through and just look at kind of the percentage of pay that you're looking at. And yours kind of sticks out to me being half or less of what you're asking for everybody else. That I appreciate those gestures. Did anybody else have any questions? All right, thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I got a note from somebody watching us on YouTube or whatever that the volume, let me get that,
Yeah.
the audio output needs to be turned up.
We cannot, that's the reason I'm saying everybody has to speak up, sit close to the mics. Pull your mic closer if you want.
Okay,
IT's worked on it. Yeah, everybody needs to talk clearly and loudly.
okay, thank you.
Sorry.
All right. Deb, are you ready now?
Good morning, and thank you for allowing us to come in and present our budget today and for your continued support of the ARC of LaGrange County. It's greatly appreciated. As many of you know, the ARC is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization that provides services for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as other related disabilities such as autism, cerebral palsy, autism, here in LaGrange County. We provide a broad array of services, quite literally from the cradle to the grave. Today, the youngest person we serve is just 4 months old, and our oldest turns 91 tomorrow. And she keeps telling me, next year, I'm going to retire. At this point, I think I'm going to retire before she does. The funds we're requesting from the county are a vital part of our local financial support required to match state funding through agencies such as the Indiana Family and Social Service Administration, the Division of Rehabilitative Services, and Vocational Rehabilitation. Ideally, the state would like to see us raise 50% of our budget here on the local level. They recognize that that's simply not realistic in small rural communities like ours. This year, if our projections hold, approximately 21% of our funding will come from local sources. The state of Indiana recognizes that supporting individuals with mental illness and developmental disabilities is an essential community service, and that's why the Indiana Code allows funding for organizations like the ARC to be levied outside of the county's maximum levy limits. And in other words, our funding does not reduce the county's operating budget or take away resources from other county departments. Likewise, because these funds are outside the levy, they can't be redirected for other purposes. So while reducing our allocation would not benefit other programs, it would have a direct and negative impact on the services available to LaGrange County residents with disabilities and their families. This year is especially meaningful because the ARC of LaGrange County is celebrating its 60th anniversary. For 6 decades, we have been serving individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families right here at home. While much has changed over the years, one thing has remained constant. Every person deserves the opportunity to live, work, and fully participate in our community. I'd like to share a story that illustrates exactly why your investment matters. Joy has been receiving services from the ARC for many years. For a long time, she never wanted to pursue a job in the community because she simply didn't believe she could do it. We believed otherwise, and we knew that she had the skills to be successful. She just needed the confidence. So to help her take that first step, we arranged for Joy to volunteer bagging groceries at Miller's. She loved it. More importantly, she discovered that she could contribute in a meaningful way and that her work truly mattered. That experience gave her the confidence to apply for a job. Today, Joy has been a valued employee at Ben's Pretzels in Shipshewana for 2 years. She loves going to work, she takes pride in what she does, and she plans to stay there for many years to come. Joy didn't just gain a job. She gained confidence, independence, purpose, and the opportunity to contribute to her community. That's the difference your investment makes. Every day, we help individuals build job skills, find employment, volunteer in the community, develop independent living skills, build friendships, and discover their own gifts and talents. We celebrate milestones that many of us take for granted: a first paycheck, riding to work independently, most often on LCAT's vans, making a new friend, or finding the confidence to speak up for themselves. Our work also strengthens families. When individuals have access to quality services, parents are able to remain in the workforce, caregivers receive much-needed support, and families have the peace of mind that their loved one has opportunities to thrive close to home. The needs for these services continue to grow. We are serving more individuals with increasingly complex needs while facing rising operating costs, workforce shortages, and continued uncertainty surrounding state and federal funding. Like many nonprofit organizations, we are continually challenged to do more with fewer resources. Today, we respectfully ask for your continued partnership by funding approximately 3% of the ARCs of LaGrange County's $7.3 million annual operating budget. A county investment of $204,404, which is an increase of $9,734 over last year's allocation. While this represents a relatively small portion of our overall budget, its impact is tremendous. County support provides the dependable local investment that allows us to leverage grants, private donations, and critical state and federal funding. Simply put, every county dollar helps unlock additional resources and allows us to maximize every dollar entrusted to us. County funding is more than a line item in our budget. It's an investment in your neighbors, people who live in every community throughout LaGrange County. It helps to ensure that individuals with disabilities have the opportunity to contribute to our workforce, participate in community life, and live with dignity, independence, and purpose. When people with disabilities succeed, our entire community succeeds. Employers gain dependable employees, families remain strong, volunteers give back, our communities become more inclusive, and everyone benefits. On behalf of the individuals we serve, their families, our dedicated staff, volunteers, and board of directors, thank you for your partnership and for considering our request of $204,404. We are proud of our 60-year history of serving LaGrange County, and with your continued support, we look forward to building an even stronger future for the next generation of citizens with disabilities and their families. Thank you for your consideration, and thank you for investing in a community where every person has the opportunity to belong, contribute, and thrive. Before I close, I want to extend another invitation from my Mother's Auxiliary. They would love to have you come and join us for lunch, meet the individuals we serve, and see firsthand how your investment is making a difference in the lives of individuals here in LaGrange County. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I appreciate all that you are doing.
Thank you.
And I know at least one of your clients, and yeah, it's made a huge difference in her life.
Thank you. We couldn't do what we do without all of you and your support. You make it happen.
All right, thank you, Deb.
Thanks.
Okay, next up, we have the commissioners.
Good morning, council members.
Good morning, sir.
This year I'd like to go over our budget. I have 2 items I'd like to discuss with you folks at the end here. Talk to Jim a little bit about it, he knows about it. Basically, the only changes we have, or the only things we've done, this year we'd like to give $50,000 to Haven of Hope, formerly Elijah Haven, familiar with them? Okay. Once again, 4-H Fair Association, $50,000. Council on Aging, $65,000. Other than that, there's nothing, health insurance, that's nothing we can control. Any questions on any of those? Nothing? Okay, my 2 items. First one is Comprehensive Plan Director. Excuse me. I've spoken with the ADC. We have voted, we'd like to do half of what, last year was $60,000. This year, we're proposing $30,000 for a Comprehensive Plan Director. And I'm guessing, Jim and I've talked about 1 more year of that and to wrap that contract up, I think.
So on that,
Comments, thoughts?
the comprehensive plan, we put a lot of dollars, a lot of time, a lot of investment into it. We agreed at that time to do 1 year, followed by a 2nd year, and possibly a 3rd year. And last year was that 3rd year. Emily's been before us a number of times, going over what has been accomplished, just basically tracking progress of a comprehensive plan that often gets noted as sitting on a shelf and collecting dust. We have not done that. We have progressed. I know we planned on 3 years, and I talked to the EDC when they asked me. I says, we talked about 3 years. Beyond that, it's going to be up to everybody deciding whether to move forward. My thoughts on that is the accomplishments that they have created and made have been tremendous, and I hate to see that just go away. So for me, this idea of a half position there keeps us moving in the right track, and it does go above and beyond what we had agreed to, but I need some thoughts from you all, what your thoughts are on it.
That's the reason I wanted to bring this up. Some thoughts on the council.
So it would be a part-time position then.
Well, they agreed to 30,000.
Okay,
I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of time put in what she's done the last year and a half. Basically, she didn't get the first year, and I don't remember how many months until we hired her, but, so she really hasn't had it 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, this meeting's for presentations that's been presented, so I don't think we can discuss it.
Well, this is the time to discuss the presentations we're hearing so that we have a better background of what we want to consider before the next meeting.
Because I have to advertise it. If it's a possibility, we put it in so it can get advertised high enough, because you can't change it.
So it's not in his budget now.
It's not in his budget now. I can add it before we advertise the budget, and then you still can take it out. We just can't put it in later without doing additional appropriations.
Are there any objections to it? And
If that was the case, I think you should have just went ahead and put it in the budget and we could have discussed it and made a decision then.
consider it done. All right, number 2, JDAI Teen Court. Spent a lot of time on this, talking to a lot of people. Judge Walls is over there, has this, I should say. He would like us,
I probably should leave. Because I have to abstain from this.
Jim, your thoughts?
Nobody's voting anything.
No.
Nobody's voting. I just want to make sure you understand that. This is
Right.
just presentations,
And I think you want to hear this.
and you can, it's part of the conversation if you want, but there's no vote taken.
Proceed? All right. He'd like to have JDAI/Teen Court, one person. Proposed budget for that would be 55,000. This is the one I'd like to have your thoughts, comments, questions, whatever you have. This is the time to ask.
what's the current budget for that?
50,000. And then we had 13,000 for Teen Court.
So this is for what now? 55,000
55,000.
for,
JDAI and Teen Court. One person handled
Okay.
both of them.
Is it such that one person could handle both of those?
Pardon me?
Is there enough, is the caseload not large, it's not a caseload, is what they do enough for one, is it a one-person job? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is that gonna overwhelm?
3 days down for you, 3 people down for you. I think he could answer that for you a lot better than I can.
I mean, I'm sure at different times they have higher numbers in it than at other times, but I just wondered, since you're trying to basically combine the two, if that's doable. You must feel it is.
Want me to comment?
Yes, please.
Somebody.
Absolutely it is. Actually, it's already in, I got grant money for the teen court portion anyway. So I don't know if you want to look at that before you make a decision. I don't have my
Go
grant. Yeah, but to answer Karen's question, yes, they can be together.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, or actually, he's the one who should be answering this question, so. It's his program.
I was asking the question if the JDAI and the teen court, if that's feasible to combine it. Obviously, sometimes you have more cases coming through than others, but is it feasible to make it a one-person position?
I think it actually could be, and
Up to the mic.
Maybe in the mic.
the coordinator is often speaking with the same people, coordinating with the schools, and I think, especially in trying to get all 3 schools more involved, I think it would be a benefit to have the same person doing it. And then also, there are some counties, well, Elkhart County uses the prosecutor's office, and they may use defense attorneys as well for their teen court. Steuben County uses their public defenders, and I think there's been some talk about potentially using the public defenders on, I think, a volunteer basis. And then also, I know that Steuben County pays their students at least a small amount or awards them for participating. So I think certainly it could be one person doing both jobs, and I think it might be more efficient. And also, there's not a disconnect in communication. I think there's been some disconnects with the communication in the last few years. Not knocking anyone in particular, just having that be one person, I think would be a benefit.
Okay, thank you.
That answer your question?
I didn't have any questions.
The answer's mine.
So
Any other comments,
I'll just make a comment. So
suggestions?
if you're a JDAI coordinator, if you've got teen court in the JDAI budget, which is a grant fund, then you would not put the salary in your budget because it's gonna be paid from two different sources. JDAI coordinator from here, is that
Teen
not right?
court, no,
Sorry, teen,
there was no salary in teen court.
just
In-
expenses for,
Correct.
okay, I'm sorry, that was not my understanding.
Yeah.
Never
So
mind.
what I'm saying is, I was gonna take it over anyway and run it, so,
Take what over?
the teen court.
Okay. Anything else on it?
So I'm hearing advertise the combined position at 55.
55,000.
Yeah, I would say so. I look at JDAI. I would hate to see that go away. LaGrange County was a nationally award-winning program with JDAI. I sat through school presentations that were being done that were really well done and well received, and yeah, we need to find ways to come up with alternatives for young people who are in trouble.
Thank you.
Kevin, I do have one more question. The ambulance service agreement, is that just a number that's given to us? Do you set that number, or is that a number that's asked for?
I think the owner may answer that better than I can. I believe that is what they're,
That's the ask?
That's their ask. That's
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
anything else? All set?
All right, thank you.
And your commissioner's recommendation on salary was 5%.
5%. Yes, that is correct.
That's the recommendation.
That's our recommendation.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Aaron, thank you, everyone.
All right, next up, Circuit Court.
You all have a copy of the letter that I sent? back in July? Make sure I'm keeping the microphone. I always hate following the scene, just get such a fluid, charismatic presentation. That said, what I did try to do is put forth these reductions, and I guess I'll right out of the gate note that a fair amount of the things that Circuit is cutting are monies that we don't necessarily use every year, that we budget for, we don't use the entirety of anyway. But looking at the letter, once again, the total budget would be a net $11,000 and change over last year's. But once again, if you go through line by line, we tried to point out all the potential increases and decreases, but once again with the clear notation that there were certainly accounts that aren't used every year, or certainly not used in their entirety, but would note the law library. Let's first start there. I've been trying to preserve it. I've been also trying to get a meeting with someone from Westlaw for about 8 years since I've been on the bench. Every year we send somebody, and we kind of, I don't want, the first couple years, not a big deal. Then we go into COVID, and we can understand why they're not sending someone in particular. Every time we'd message them though, however, we would at times get folks. No one has ever come in person since I've been there. We requested it pretty much every year, and we somehow get channeled back to someone who's trying to sell us an electronic plan as opposed to the books. At this point in time, I finally thought, okay, they're not going to come, no matter how many times we ask them. in the back of my mind, I question, however, and part of my reluctance was, are they ultimately losing money, even as much as this is, because the volume of book sales are so low, are they losing money on us? And that was one of the reasons, that was part of my reluctance to try to, but I wanted to talk to someone before I said, hey, let's just cut this year. Been asking for the salary increases for a couple years. I thought this is a year, we'll cut that, keep about $5,000 for electronic research, which is 99% of what I do and most of the lawyers are doing. It's nice to have a book occasionally. Certainly there are certain situations where it's faster to, and especially the treatises and some of the little summarized code books are very nice. You can get there more quickly than trying to even type it. But generally speaking, I think we can save money for the county, and it's time. Once again, I was hoping someone would meet with us and try to explain what benefits we have and try to keep us, but they have yet to. It's now been 8 years, and so at this point, cutting the book budget down from it, I think it was approximately 23, although it's every year they also increase it unexpectedly every year. We've had more expense than what we budgeted for because they're increasing it so quickly. But $18,000 reduction from last year in that account. Go ahead.
Is $5,000 going to cover it? If you expended this year so far over 8,000,
That's for the books.
That's for the books.
Subscription's gone, then we won't have that. I'm trying to leave some money for some of the, like I said, treatises and some of the combined code books that we can get that I use all the time, and also potentially leave some additional money for. I'm using AI on occasion. I'm sure you all are at times, and that's certainly ramping up, and trying to leave a little money there for online subscription, in addition to what the state does provide some through Lexus, but something else additionally, and also some money for books. And they're kind of like college textbooks, where 5,000 sounds like a ton, but they're a lot of the books are $500 to $700 a piece. So it's, a handful of books will eat a lot of that up. But I think it would be irresponsible to continue with the paper library, especially without them giving any explanation as to what we're really. I see the books come in, I see the annotations and the supplements, but at this point, I think it makes sense to cut that. If someone has a reservation about that, I guess I never spoke. We're here today, but I don't think I threw that at anyone other than the letter. If someone does have a problem with that, there's certainly. I don't see him here right now. He honestly uses the books more than most. Bunce still does a fair amount. There's some people who do, and they use the county's books. And if we have a book that was superseded the next year, we make that available, and a fair amount of the lawyers will get those books. And a lot of the times there's minimal changes, and as long as they're aware of the possibility of a small change, there's value. They can take that book, and otherwise we'd be recycling it. So I think there's been some value to it. And they're not just trashed, but otherwise, I guess continue to go through.
Well, I would just say I appreciate this, because I'm sitting here thinking of one of your predecessors from a number of years ago, and the year that we had a situation where there were over $40,000 worth of books in the cases in the courthouse that had never been opened. And the council was being threatened with arrest for not paying for those. So I appreciate this. Part of being the old guy.
I should have let you. Thank you very much. You all have been generous. Never had, other than the issue, that one issue of salary, which we're going to talk about again. I think anything I've ever asked for, you've given without reservation, and I appreciate it. Also, I try to be a steward, and hopefully that comes across at times. But thank you very much, and I maybe should have said good morning when I got up here if I didn't say that.
I blew it.
Going back, thank you once again, Councilman Gingrich, and going down the list, a slight increase for CASA, which I think, once again, I don't want to reiterate the argument too much from last year, but we went a very long time not paying anywhere near the share that the other counties did. So I think, and it's a necessary program, required program, and I appreciate the work they do. It's incredibly important in terms of them being advocates for the children themselves. And I've had every year have a number of cases where the state, I've had some in the last couple months where the state's taking one position, the parents are taking another, and CASA's taking a third. And oftentimes, it's CASA's advocacy that, it's often the avenue that makes the most sense, and they don't have that bias. They're messy situations. Chin's cases are messy. It's terrible. We have children that are being torn from families, often with good reason, but sometimes not. And then often the situation is, where do they need to go after this? Whether they need to go to an institution or temporarily, or to be returned to family, or who they should be placed with. Very difficult decisions that unfortunately I don't enjoy making, but have to make. And CASA is invaluable in that. So noting that slight increase for them, about $3,000. Otherwise, going down through the list, note we haven't tried to reduce the postage because I don't think we're using as much of it. And having that there in the past, some of these things, maybe we'll have a reason why we need to, but at this point, I think we should cut these things so that that's available for other programs and not just set aside. Once again, they are going back into county general. It's not lost money, but everything's tight for everyone, and I want to make sure that we're trying to be reasonable with what we're estimating. Jury lodging and meals for jurors, we've had a reduction at least the last year and a half or so, 2 years, and trying to reduce that a little bit. All we need is one big trial to blow the whole thing, but at this point, I think it's reasonable to reduce that a little bit. Your analysis, we have multiple accounts we use. In this particular account, in general, reducing that 1,000 because we haven't been using it out of that account. I think we've been using it out of other accounts, and maybe some of it's been coming out of superiors because a lot of it's probation, and so it's that money. I think estimating that would be better spent in other areas, maybe go out of other departments. If we keep going down. Transcribing, we reduced it a little bit. That said, hopefully we don't have too many appeals. That's the problem. It's up and down. What I didn't, I guess I did, professional services, I think I increased it last year, but I guess I want to address that. I don't know, noting mental health, competency and insanity offenses have been raised more in the last 2 years than I ever remember, ever. And every time someone, and it's like you get it, and it's a good faith. I have to believe it's a good faith request by the lawyer. I've tried to. There's a potential maybe to try to look to take some of the money to pay for it out of the public defender budget at times, but ultimately it's on us. It's on the county. It's on the court, and one report will be $2,500, and we need 2 of them per case. And then at times we then it'll be 6 months down the road, and we'll need an update because they're doing better, and then that'll be $1,000, and that's one case. And I bet we've had a dozen in the last 18 months of that being raised in circuit court. So I'm sure it's happening in Superior too. So it's an issue. Just want to, that's something that I don't really think I have a choice on it. I don't, unless there's clear fraud or misrepresentation made by a lawyer that's apparent. We have to let a professional do their assessment and then get that back. So noting that's an issue that comes up occasionally. That's all. Anyone have any questions so far? I can go ahead.
Yeah, on the risk assessment, can
Yes.
you explain that to me?
Risk assessment. Okay, risk assessment was Terminal 26 came out. It's been half dozen years ago now, basically requiring that we do. At one point in time, it was essentially saying everyone should be released short of murder, essentially. And there's been some case law that came down giving more discretion back to the courts. It honestly never got to that point here. And there are some counties that do that. And my whole thought has been, I'm not going to toss out community safety. People have due process rights, and they're presumed innocent, but we do live one county from Ohio. We have a toll road going through an interstate going through our county, and people can walk to Michigan and disappear, and we see people 5 years later. So that was there to assess risk, to make sure that we're and it's been used for a number of things. There was a few years back where the computer system used by the sheriff's department, they were short funding for that, and that absolutely is part of that assessment money, and that money was there, like $9,000, almost $9,000 used for that. So, and luckily we hadn't used much of that, but it really depends year to year when we figure out what we need to do to assess risk, and if we've been lucky enough so far with having probation do most of that work. There are many counties that have separate individuals hired either part-time or otherwise to do that assessment, or to shift money into community corrections to do the assessment if someone is released with, and so that's ultimately what it's for. But it has been, we've used it for all sorts of things. That said, there are some years where we've barely touched it at all. So it's been sitting there, but it's never wasted. But I can understand your concern about having $10,000 sitting out there where it could be used in someone else's budget, because there's shortfalls all over the place, and I understand that. But at this point, it's been very useful a number of times, having the money there and available, and also the books. We've transferred out the books every year. I've been trying to attempt to figure out what the books are going to cost, and then out of nowhere, mid-year, they increase, and we end up with a $3,000 or $4,000 shortfall end of the year, and we've used it for that as well, shifting it over. So I don't want to say slush fund. It's always been for legitimate purposes, but it has been a place to anything related potentially to risk. I think research arguably is there. It could be related to the defense attorneys, to the state, to the jail, anything related to that risk assessment, anything that could go towards criminal 26 and pretrial release. And
All right.
hopefully I'm not going in circles. Any other questions on that?
No, thank you.
I guess I'll jump into the salary. So the issue salary, which is the same request, comparable request made the last 2 years. I'll start out of the gate with saying, I guess I don't, maybe saying the quiet part out loud again, it was not originally my idea. That said, I think it was a good idea, and I signed on in 2024. And I did include the letter with the grid from 2024, and I'm making the exact same request that was made in 2024 for the 25 budget. This is the third year in a row. Obviously, other counties have continued to increase, I'd say on average more than we have, but maybe I'm wrong on that. But certainly a couple counties around us. I did include some screenshots of Alan. I had my intern, who's a Trine student, who's very valuable. We've got all of the Allen County reporter, and just the court reporters, not the other positions. Because if you look at the sheet, I included it. There's that screenshot. If you look above it, there's $5,000 for the judge. There's additional $45,000 for magistrate. That's on top of what the state's paying. Then there's a court executive, $149,000. That's not a judge. Court operations position, $121,000. Criminal division. Those are positions that I'm not including, but those are, and it's Allen County. They have, and that's just one page of about 8 pages of those salaries. I just tried to give you a sample, which I think is consistent with the averages, where the average salary in Allen County is $66,567, with the median salary of $65,862. And I think that page is a good representative of that. So if you look through there, and if you get underneath it, there are certainly some court services clerks that are making less. There's one with 41, there's one at 60, one at 52, 60, 49, 41, 46, 46. And those are things that the court reporters here do. Their chief court reporter is doing some of those executive functions. And they're doing extra jobs, but they are court reporting. Every reporter that I have that's a designated reporter, well, I need to change names, but every single one in the court does actually court report, goes into court, drafts basic orders, especially form orders where we have routine hearings, and they do that work. So they're all court reporters. And noting that, once again, Allen's at 66 average, 65 median, or almost 66 median. We also have Elkhart County, where they just advertised, it's been about 3 months ago, a range for a starting salary range of $50,377 to $55,983 for their starting for a court reporter, based upon experience. It's obviously someone comes in, but it's still, that is in the door at minimum 50. That's in the door for someone. That's theoretically someone who's graduated from high school. It would take an amazing person to do that, but it's theoretically possible, but still significantly higher. So it's Allen County's $15,000 to $20,000 above us, and Elkhart is starting is more than I believe is more than our chief court reporter. So that, just noting that, and at least one reporter in Superior and one reporter in Circuit could apply for the Allen County jobs, and every single one, as we share a border with Elkhart County, could apply for those Elkhart County jobs. So That's why I'm asking for it. It's 30 in a row, the same request, at the same rates that I was requesting. That the first year, Judge Bowenstein requested as well. No disrespect to her, but I'll say, once again, say the quiet part out loud. I don't believe any of those experienced reporters she had at that point in time are still with her. So there's not a huge difference between, if you look at the grid from, I had a new reporter start, and he's I think within $2,000 of what the grid would start someone. So it's not unreasonable for someone starting. So she's had a number of newer reporters starting, so I don't think it's affecting that court as much as it's affecting circuit, to try to retain and keep our valuable experienced court reporters. I've got one with coming up on 10 in a month or so. I've got one with 13 and one with 15, I believe, and that doesn't include their other experience. I know Cindy's been a legal assistant for pushing 30 years, so you include all those things. That's where we are. That's why I'm respectfully requesting the increase for those positions.
So on those positions,
Yes.
we always tend to lean towards Allen and Elkhart County, which are huge in comparison to LaGrange.
Sure.
What about Steuben, DeKalb, Noble? Any ideas where they're
I
at with
believe
things?
Noble leapfrogged us and is slightly higher than we are. So, and Steuben, I haven't looked at Steuben in a couple of years. I think their ballpark, although honestly, Steuben has been the anchor, I think, holding, people will look to Steuben to say, oh, but also Steuben is technically a smaller county. Granted, they have higher population in the summer, 3 courts. So they have 3 courts to cover. They have a magistrate with full court and staff. So if you divide up, you have at least 9, but I think they're more than that. I think they have approximately 12 employees, 2 between the. So if you look at that, the division of work, they have more court reporters than we do.
Yeah, and DeKalb, similar.
DeKalb, and I had the numbers once again in other years. They're similar. I think they're higher as well. I think they're comparable to Noble, and so I can get those for you all. I'd be happy to try to get the current Steuben and current DeKalb numbers as well. And going back to the Allen, once again, Allen, I know it's not Allen County, but I did work there. Maybe that's part of it. I wasn't an employee of Steuben or DeKalb. I've been an employee of Noble and Allen. And Allen, if you look at Allen, this goes for all court employees, all government employees. They do offer reimbursement for gym memberships, tuition and textbook reimbursement, and student loan repayment assistance up to $5,250 per year. And those are separate things, not $5,000 total. That's just loan repayments for up to $5,250 per year. So that's a lot of other benefits that I understand. I'm not saying we should or shouldn't, but just it's another thing to think about when someone's determining where they want to work. It's a difficult situation. The budget's tight. I get that. I'm just once again making the same argument I made the last couple of years. And luckily, I've said this before. I'll say it one more time quickly. I have one reporter that she should just quit, go on welfare, get full Medicaid, get TANF, and she would be $10,000 to $15,000 ahead of working full time and choosing to be a public servant. So I appreciate her staying and being loyal to the court, being loyal to the people of LaGrange County, and choosing to work as opposed to not work with. When I think this bump would get to the point where at least she would be there'd be no advantage to quitting and getting on welfare. Any questions for me?
Is that, you mentioned you could get the numbers from.
I think I can get to Calvin Steuben, sure.
If you could get that to Kathy so she could distribute it to us
Sure.
for the next meeting.
Sure. And also, I don't know what, I think Allen's typically behind us in terms, I don't know what they're asking for next year, so that's another thing. They may be looking for but sure, certainly get Steuben, DeKalb, and Noble numbers for you all to review as well. So, I know I'm forgetting something. Anything else should be, any questions or anything else that I've forgotten to cover? I don't know, Auditor Hopper, anything I'm missing? Usually you're great about pointing something out that I'm missing.
Those other counties, are they based on, your employees are 35 hours a week?
35, that's correct.
Is your,
Well, kind of. They are, but because we have the hybrid hours work system, so which has actually resulted, I think, in a reduction in the need for comp time or overtime, because if we have a trial that goes beyond, especially to 4:30, they're covered, so we don't have to worry about about that. So, but yes, technically 35, that's correct. So it would be fair to look, I think Elkhart might be 37. I think you're right, that's a good point, Elkhart. But I think it's a practical budget situation, and it does matter. But I think if you ask people, hey, you can make 15 grand and work another 2 hours a week, I think it'd be a no-brainer for most of the employees. They would say absolutely. Anything additional? Appreciate your patience, always your generosity, generally speaking. And I'll get the numbers for you on DeKalb, Steuben, and Noble. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sheriff?
All right, I have one small request before we get to the budget, if that's okay, if I can do that first. So SAS does our cameras in the back. We had a couple low visibility spots, so we had them come in. I'm gonna adjust two of our cameras to they call it a fisheye, so we can get 360 view, and then add a third camera in a spot that we don't have one, just to make sure we have that full visibility. And that was over my 5,000 top there, so it was $6,270 total. And I have that to cover. I just want to make sure that we can go ahead and move forward on that, and that way I can get that visibility back in the jail.
You're asking to use commissary?
Yeah.
So that'd need to be advertised.
No, this does not. Commissary, you just need your vote approval
Oh.
to it, because it's over 5,000.
Okay. I'd move to approve that.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the SRS cameras, 2 change to fisheyes and 1 new one.
SAS.
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 Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, thank you. Good morning, and thanks for taking time to go over budgets this morning. I didn't have anything major moving forward from last year. Tried to keep it pretty low. A majority of mine, I added a 3% just to kind of keep up with the cost of materials and everything being raised. For my vehicles, I am requesting to do 5 Durangos this year. I've got a few of them that are on my admin side, they're over 100,000 mark, and they're kind of starting to make them dime me a little bit. So try to rotate those through. So that was one we requested for last year. I was requesting one more this year.
And that's in cum cap.
Correct. Then for 27, a few of my maintenance contracts were anywhere average 3 to a 5% increase. So it wasn't terrible. They have gone up higher in the past, and then I'm not requesting any additional staffing for next year. And then I did put in for a 3% across the board for all of my staff. But again, a majority of my line items were just a 3% raise just to kind of keep up with everything. So.
You had a big jump in software, and I was just wondering if you have something in mind. There's something coming up on the horizon. It was, you went from 15,605 to 75,605. And I read through your letters, and I know there's some increases, but I didn't see exactly that 60,000 increase. I was hoping maybe it was a typo.
I will have to get with Kathy on that, because I don't recall offhand which.
It's our 78 page in our book, but it's your software in your Fund 1000. The
It's in the
three,
general fund?
it's in the general, yeah, but it's
It's in
30237.
911.
Am I not giving him the right numbers now?
Was that when it was added from a previous year, then when we added the?
I don't know, it's in the 911 budget, not sheriff's.
Okay.
Yeah, your communications department, sorry.
That was not ringing a bell offhand.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean, I know there's always updates and things that come along in software, but I was just curious with that large of an increase if you had something specific in mind.
No, I will double check on that one.
Here's your request form if you want to see it.
Okay.
Don't mean to put you on the spot, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
And it's just written in.
Yeah, I'll have to be back on that one. Find out.
Perfect. Yeah, just curious, thank you.
Oh, I know what it was. It was our, 911 recording system. So we haven't purchased it yet, but we're having issues with the recordings on there, so that was, we'd like to do that purchase next year. We have, right now, 2 companies that were getting back with us, and then that would be to upgrade just the recording for 911 and all the, radio traffic. When we recorded that, what we have now, it works. It's a little garbled if we can listen to it, but if we put it on a thumb drive or if somebody requests that, it's very garbled. So that would be to upgrade that system.
Okay,
So
thank you.
That's what it was.
So that's the interaction insight letter?
Yes, and that should have the cost on there.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah, Insight, and I think the other one was, I think it's called Nice, if I remember right on that company. Well, my director was getting quotes for that, so that's why that one was put on there. Any other questions on the line items?
I have nothing else.
That is it
Any more
for me.
questions? All right. Thank you,
Okay,
Tracy.
thank you very much, appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Can we take a quick pause since Harold said that?
Okay. We're gonna take a 5-minute break. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
I don't know how to turn this off. Or pause it. I think I can mute it. I can stop it when I have to restart it, so. Just turn the mic.
Monday came pretty early this week.
snakes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting back to order, if my mic's even on. Can anybody hear me out there? Nope, my mics aren't going through.
Hello?
All right, so next on the agenda, we are gonna do some moving around, and we're gonna go over the legal claims right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. We have met with the attorney, county attorney. We have reviewed each claim item by item. You will notice on what was sent to you, there are several split payments where the cost is being shared. One with the Redevelopment Commission near the bottom that is coming out of their fund. A lot of litigation that's been going on. Council is aware of that. So litigation for work done in June was $10,693. Total legal claims are $39,886. As I said, we have met with legal counsel, we have reviewed them. I make a motion that we approve payment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve payment of the legal fees. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
And with your permission, Mr. President, I have a motion related to estimated property tax levy limits and reductions due to the circuit breaker. So I'd make a motion that all taxing units stay within their maximum levy limits for the budget year 2027 as directed by the Department of Local Government Finance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that all taxing units stay within their maximum levy limits for the budget year 2027 as set by the Department of Local Government Finance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
All right, with that done, we'll move back to some more budget.
Fun.
So the next on the agenda is the clerk.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't really have a lot of changes from last year. One change I would like to make is, I pay one of my chief deputies out of the part out of perpetuation fund and the other part out of general. I like to move that to where she's paid totally out of general. We've been doing the scanning project, and with paying her out of that fund isn't accumulating enough funds to keep up with their scanning project.
So which one are you talking about here? I'm looking at your budget printout. Which one are you talking about here?
So the perpetuation fund is Fund 11119. I have the deputy clerk paying part out of that.
Be the deputy SB on the
Oh,
first page.
okay.
See how it was 75, 8,000,
Oh, all right, I see.
Yeah.
Deputy SB is
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
So I like to just move her total salary to 1,000.
And it was paid out of user fees?
The perpetuation fund, yeah, for like copy fees and stuff like that, those accumulates that fund.
So you're putting the rest of that it used to be paid out of that under general?
Correct. It used to all be paid out of general, and then we changed it because I think at that point, Kathy can correct me if I'm wrong, that fund was accumulating a lot of money and we wasn't spending it. So is that true or, yeah. So we just,
The
yeah.
fund is used down now? Okay.
yeah. And with the scanning project that we're trying to do, we're trying to scan all the old documents in the attic. So with us doing that the last couple of years, we don't really have enough revenue to continue to do that. Which I think is a good project, so I like to try to keep that going until we get the attic cleaned up if possible. Everything else is pretty cut and dry from last year. I didn't really make any major changes. My biggest thing is the salary. I am asking for my staff to be paid the same as court reporters for 2027. I've never really understood why clerk staff makes less than court reporters. Everything starts and finishes with the clerk's office. Nothing goes to the courts before the clerk's office. There's a lot of responsibility on the clerk's office. We hold the elections. We pick the jurors, or select the jurors for the jury trials. We deal with the public both in person, on the phone. We deal with money. We deal with the child support. With the child support comes extra training that the staff has to do every year. So I'm just asking for our staff to be paid the same as the court reporters.
And if I put the numbers together right, that's approximately a 3% increase with them over and above what the others would get us there.
I'm not asking that increase for my chief deputy and myself. I'm just asking for a 5% for the two of us, but I would like for the staff to be paid as much as the court reporters. The clerk staff has a lot of responsibility. I don't know that people realize all that our office does. And I'm not by any means taking anything away from the court reporters or any other staff. I mean, I think everybody works just as hard as anybody else, but I just think that we need to pay the clerk staff a little bit more than we are currently.
Do you know how do we compare to surrounding counties?
I think the smaller counties, we are comparable. I think most counties do make more than us. I can get numbers for you if you need that. I was just basically comparing our employees to our employees.
Sure.
Because we all deal with the same amount of people, public. So if one other thing, if that's not possible or feasible for us to be the same as the court reporters, I would like to have all of my staff make the same amount. We have one employee that's, granted, I don't want to take anything away from her. She's been here for like 24 years. But I would like for at least the staff to make what she makes. So all of my staff makes the same amount of money.
So I would have a question in what we're seeing here. Does her salary reflect longevity?
No.
Okay, so that,
She was here when you did the salary wage study in 2009. And so you grandfathered those people in. As everybody got increases, they also got increases. So they were above the schedule. Right?
Okay.
She's our last employee that was still here, that was grandfathered in, that hasn't changed position. So she's always been higher just because of that, the way it's been handled.
okay.
Any
Is-
other questions on that? I mean, like I said, everything else, I think all my other line items is pretty comparable to last year.
Does anybody have any further questions?
No. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Kim. Okay, next is the surveyor.
Good morning.
Morning. You guys have a copy of the budget. I'm not spending much time trying to talk about every single line item, but if you guys have questions or concern, I'll go address those. If you have, want to speak to me after the meeting or in the coming weeks before the next hearing, I'd be more than sit down and talk to you as well outside this office or outside this meeting room. So, any questions for me?
Yeah, the ATV utility vehicle. Do we not have one at this point even?
Not the surveyor's office. The parks have some.
Okay.
SDVC has one. We've been holding off for a while because we're doing section corners that are on the road or easy to get to by truck. We are just at a point where this year will be the last year we'll be able to do them on the road or places for the most part. So any remaining corners are on the backside of these farms. We can't get a vehicle to, get small vehicle to, like UTV. I want to take a truck back to these places, but to get our equipment, our concrete, all our equipment to dig these holes, it's something we're gonna have to have. I think we're gonna continue to do them in-house.
Do we have-
Outsource them to a third party, but it is very costly per corner.
So
on an
do
individual
you have a
basis.
trailer figured in to get it where you're going, or what's your thoughts there? Is there a trailer?
Well, the trailer, I'm not as, how should I say this? Depending on how much we spend on a side-by-side, we may have some money left over for a trailer. A trailer to haul will probably be $2,000, so it's kind of a small
Yeah.
thing. So I don't think we need to budget a $2,000 trailer, and I could probably use the money we have left over or reappropriate some funds if I had to guess. Or seeing if we have a trailer that's available at the county that's on certain days with coordinating with either, so SWCD, if they were willing to let us borrow a small trailer. I know they probably have one for theirs, but I haven't crossed that bridge yet without buying one. I guess I'm not worried about a trailer at this point if you can't purchase one, so I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there, Jim.
Okay. Does anybody have more questions for Zach?
I have one more thing. You have anything else?
Doesn't sound like it. Go ahead.
Okay. Just one more thing I want to just address is not just the surveyor's office, but the county in general. We appreciate working here. I think a lot of people enjoy working here. Some people have been here a long time. Some people are just starting, like the job. The always debatable thing is always compensation, salaries, wages, hourly rates, other counties, hours worked, all this stuff. Since I've been here in the last 10 years, we've always done a percentage based on last year's income of that person, which it's okay to a certain point for a cost of living adjustment, but when you start to just do that year after year, there starts becoming an exponential curve where people at the high get big pay increases, people at the bottom get a small, and your scale starts to get an exponential curve to where it just starts to get exponentially. You're not pulling everybody up at a kind of same level. I'm not saying the people at the top don't deserve some of that money, but I think everybody deserves a certain amount, but getting people to stick around to these lower paid wages. How it got pointed to me a little bit was looking at some of the employees that work here. I mean, we have full-time employees that work at the county that qualify, just like the judge said, for free Hoosier healthcare. I look at that, I think we are a government entity. We're not a fast food restaurant. We're not a gas station or low wages. We're supposed to pay a wage that should be able to support a family off of without having to take a free handout from the state government. Either that's too loose or we're not paying enough, but something's imbalanced right when we are paying people that work here going to partake in our health care that we provide because they can get it free from the state because they qualify because we don't pay enough. Just something to look at. Just like the judge said, some of these people would be better off not working. It's like, we want to compensate our employees enough to where it justifies working. Even the ones that don't qualify are actually worse off because they went outside the threshold of income on that kind of stuff. They basically are worse off because now they got to pay out of their pocket for health insurance to the county, which helps county employees because it spreads the pool out more, but it also is worse individually for them because they're making just enough over the threshold. They don't qualify for a free health care plan, but they have to pay here. So just keep that in mind as we set wages, as you guys think about what the increases will be, is how do we make it so we kind of keep people all around coming up together to a certain point. And how you do that, that's for you guys to decide. If you, I work for federal, state governments, and they have ways of tiers of grades. I don't know if that's the best way, but there's got to be a threshold to where we keep things somewhat in a parameter so we keep everybody satisfied from the top to the bottom all the way through. So that's all I have to say. If you have any questions in the coming weeks, please reach out to myself, and I'll come meet with you sometime, or you come to the office. Anybody who wants to speak, I'll go into more detail if you guys care to hear it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robbie, come on up.
I have a few items on my line items that have increased for this year. One of them is for the BZA and CPC site visits. We've had several extra meetings over the last few years, and so they do more site visits, and so we've been running, I've had to take out of the other accounts to pay it at the end of the year, so that increased. Because of extra meetings, I also increased the board secretary fees for paying. The two other ones, the one is the big one is for postage. We do all the public hearing mailings now. We are reimbursed for it, but it doesn't come back into my line item. So we've had to increase the postage so that we have enough stamps to mail everything out. That, and then also increase the office supplies a little bit for paper.
So you'd mentioned about the zoning enforcement officer position. And that, how long has it been?
A full year.
Full year. And you had mentioned leave it in there to be able to bring them when we need them. What's your insight on that? I mean, is this going to happen in a couple months or might be a year or two? What's your feelings on it?
Another full year. I don't feel that there's enough work now for two employees in that, doing that.
Okay.
The other, I guess the big item I have is for my administrative assistant. I'd like to have her title changed to office coordinator. We have added an extra meeting during the month now just to keep up with demand for what's going on in our communities. So she prepares
An extra BZA meeting or
an extra tech review for
Okay.
Subdivisions.
Okay.
And AFO site plans and that items. So she prepares for 4 meetings a month now instead of just the 3. I believe that her pay should be increased to an office coordinator, to equal an office coordinator position. And so I'm asking for her that. Otherwise, it's just the standard, we did a 5% over the board for the other employees.
And this is the person that you're asking $400 additional dollars for, correct?
For her evening meetings.
Yes, and you want to reclassify her as office coordinator. Okay, just making sure. It's a Monday. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah, it's just that she prepares all the board packets. I mean, she has her everyday duties that she does every day in the office. So these are items that it's required for her job, but it's now we've increased another meeting and we have full agendas. And so there's just a lot of extra work. She's great at her job. I really hope to keep her.
And the extra meeting is an evening meeting?
It's during the day.
Okay.
It's during the day. Because we have extra meetings with the Plan Commission, she gets paid hourly to come in for those evening
Okay,
And that's why we did the additional 400,
okay.
just to make sure we covered that.
Is there more questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rebby.
Thank you.
Redevelopment Commission, do we need to do anything there, Kathy?
You can review it if you want. We have, well, you're on redevelopment commission.
Yeah.
We have just budgeted, this was the current fund balance in each of those 3 TIP districts, just so that the RDC gets cash quicker when they have a project.
Okay.
Okay, next is weights and measures. She not here. Okay. Soil and water, Martin.
He just walked in. Your timing is great, Martin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Appreciate the opportunity. I don't want to sound like I'm kissing up. I would like to express some appreciation to a few people in here, to Kevin, and to Karen. I'm fortunate, our Soil and Water Conservation District is sort of it's been described as without sounding prejudicial, it's been described by people other than me as the red-headed stepchild of county government, because these districts were formed back in the 1940s as subdivisions of state government. And once Indiana state government founded them and got all the paperwork in place, they promptly threw them in the laps of county, and the counties had to put up with it ever since. And so we're sort of neither here nor there in a lot of counties. Support is very sporadic and very poor. LaGrange County supports our Soil and Water Conservation District better than, and I don't want to cut my own nose off here, but better than any other county, including some of our bigger, more populous counties, than any other county that I'm aware of, and at least in the northeast corner. So want to appreciate that, appreciate Kevin for coming to board meetings, Karen for coming to our board meetings. Almost no other county that I'm aware of gets a council member and a commissioner at almost all board meetings. And Jimmy's been there too, and so really want to express appreciation for that and for the support that you guys offer every year for our district operations. I think LaGrange County is aware that our environment is important. We place a lot of emphasis and a lot of economics behind our agriculture and behind the other environmental concerns in our county as well. We've got big concerns with lakes and with water quality and that kind of thing. All of our water, as you guys probably know, goes from LaGrange County through one of 4 different routes ends up in Lake Michigan, up at Benton Harbor. And so we're affecting people downstream. We do what we can to make sure that the water that we ship on is as clean for other people downstream as what we can make it. Noble County is well aware that some of our watersheds originate in LaGrange County around right close to where I grew up, Martin Lake, Olin Lake, Oliver Lake. That goes down and filters down into Noble County. Some of our other watersheds are at the top of the hill. The Twin Lakes in the Howe area, Cedar Lake, a lot of the lakes in LaGrange County are at the top of the watershed, and we start out with pretty good water quality. And depending on how we treat our environment, other people are the receiving end of how we're managing. And I'm pretty proud of the way we're doing it and the way we're supporting our efforts. So just having said that, I guess I had to get that off my chest. You've got my request in front of you.
went over this with our staff first. Amy's here with me. She pays the bills and keeps things going on a day-to-day basis in our office. Went over it with Amy, developed a budget, and then I went over it with the Soil and Water Board. The board pricked my conscience a few places, not in a, they actually made me go up. I'll lay that on them since none of them are here today to hear me say it. The main areas that I requested increase this year is in postage, because we send out a lot of stuff. LaGrange County, with the population that we have, especially our old order Amish population, a lot of our correspondence still goes by snail mail. We can't just push a button and send everything email like a lot of other counties can. And so we do a lot of bulk mailings, and when postage goes up, our expenses go up with it. So we increased our postage ask, we increased our fuel ask. We operate two vehicles, actually cut one out a year or so ago. So, but we do have to pay attention to, gas prices at the pump. So those are basically the two major areas that I requested significant increases for this year. I've got some extra copies of our budget on our form that I use to develop our budget every year. If anybody would like one, you're welcome to them. I did submit that along with the county required budget. Actually reduced it, got a couple of blue numbers on here that I reduced and asked where we could. We try to keep it modest, we try to keep it realistic. Asked for a 3% raise for personnel. Now, you guys are talking about personnel all day long, and you know the score, and I think all three of our soil and water people are happy to have a job. And so that's where we're at. I'd be happy to entertain any questions. I did catch that with the surveyor. We did 2 years ago, with county blessing and county funding, we bought a pretty substantial trailer so that we're primarily able to haul our equipment, tree transplanter, tractor, around the different sites. Got a really nice trailer with a higher weight capacity, but it does sit a lot, and if Zach needs to use it to haul a side-by-side around, I think we can come to some kind of arrangement like that. He's already storing his equipment trailer on our property up there at Fargill, so I think that's something that could be worked out. We got the 12-passenger van. I was just on the phone with Adam DeLucene from DNR. They've got a program later this month that they want to use that for, and I would remind other county agencies that we do have that van, and we try to make that available when a higher capacity passenger vehicle is required. Sheriff's Department's used it in the past, highways used it in the past, and it is available.
All right, well, thank you, Martin.
Yes. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, next, Jeff, Extension.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to introduce Matt Dice. Oh, you may know Matt. He was here
Yep.
about 3 years ago, for about 3 years.
Yeah.
So, he was the 4-H person, and Matt's gonna be taking over some administrative duties for Purdue as we're doing a little bit of a technical shuffle in how we're structured. Budget for this year is, I think, pretty simple. A couple things I'd like to point out. We had a summer assistant budgeted for 2026, and we did not use that, we did not expend that part of the budget this year. We had a new assistant, and we also got a 4-H person on our staff, and we utilized that. But with the shuffling that's going to go on personnel-wise, I thought it would probably be wise to go ahead and leave that in for 2027, because I think that our 4-H program's going to need that next year. Also want to point out that the mileage, I've dropped that significantly in our request for next year. Part of that is because a lot of the extension educators are going to be regionalized, and so I will be working, for instance, in a couple of different counties, and so we won't need that money there. Now, we will still, what that's going to do is shift some of the burden of going and getting supplies, that sort of thing, to our office staff, so they may have to run and go get something here or there to help support the effort. So I wanted to make sure that we left something in there to help Vicki and Emily in that case. I don't know, that's really, otherwise it's pretty much about the same. I went with the numbers for the salaries that, I think we were told 5%, I just stuck with that, so. Any questions?
Not for me.
No. Okay.
Okay,
No questions?
thank you.
All right, Bill, emergency management.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
So my budget's pretty straightforward. I mean, as far as the line items go, a couple that I increased a little bit, but a couple that I decreased a little bit as well, or two that I eliminated altogether. So pretty evened out, maybe a little bit of overall increase, $200 maybe, but other than that, a lot of those lines, they don't necessarily all get used, but if something happens, they will. So, I mean, that's kind of what my budget's about, is preparing for the bad day. I did put a salary increase in there, which in line with everything else. The other request I did have was looking at a part-time deputy. I think, you know, at some point, that conversation's gotta be started. You know, throughout the county. I mean, this department's been going 20, 25 years, and I'm probably about the only one that hasn't grown. I think we're still at one. I'm the only one that's at a one-person department in northern Indiana. Our whole district, everybody has at least one, if not two people on their staff helping them out, but yet the requirements are the same for me as it is for everybody else. So everything gets reported. We learn after every event what our shortfalls are. You know, just recently with the tornadoes, we learned where we were. I mean, it was 2 weeks of nonstop where an extra person would have helped in those benefits, or benefited during those circumstances as well. With that position that I asked for, like, I don't necessarily want it now. There's conversation with the highway building and possibly moving my department down there. That's where I want that position to start. Not now. I mean, we don't have a place. I mean, some of you have been in my office, they'd have to sit on my lap, and that's not gonna happen. So, there's just not room for it right now. And I get that. But as we grow, I wanna take LaGrange County, you either, Jeff. I wanna take LaGrange County to the next level. And I think there's possibility there that it could happen. I've got a lot of respect from other agencies. They're now calling on me for advice where, you know, 6 years in now, it's different. I was calling them constantly, now they're calling me. And I think we can take it to the next level. I have to travel outside of LaGrange. I train constantly. So we're leaving nobody here. You know, I could be gone for days or a week at a time at different trainings and things with no coverage or relying on another county to cover it. You know, it's little things like that. I'm ready to go to that next level. I want the support to go to that next level. There's potential there. You know, training in our county, and it's not just my training, like I'm bringing trainings in for our first responders. I'm also hosting trainings for our community members, things like that. We've got a community organizations active in disaster starting up next month.
you know, which is gonna be a whole nother thing to oversee. The LEPC is something that we oversee, and it's all just growing. Nothing is going smaller. So that's kind of my request in a short version. I'd love to have any conversation with you if you'd like, here or other. Any questions you guys may have?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to make a comment. Bill sent me to one of the trainings, and I thought it was very beneficial for me sitting where I'm sitting here. And and I know Bill has offered to send anyone here. I think Kevin's been to some training, and Peter's been to some training. Jenny, you've been? Yep. And I think it's beneficial for us, since we do hold the checkbook in a sense, to know what he's doing and why he's doing it. So that training is very beneficial for our government leaders to go attend, commissioners, councilmen. So I just want to throw that out there. I learned a lot, and I encourage it.
I do have a question, excuse me, I do have a question for you. Part of your salary, there's a grant that you're able to get, correct? Okay, is there any possibility of that for an assistant?
No.
Okay,
Not anymore. That grant
just-
was lowered, so it's half of my salary up to $30,000. So we
Okay.
reached 30,000 threshold with my salary, so.
okay, I was just
right
curious,
now,
thank
there's
you.
no other grant. Now that could change, the grant keeps changing every time. but I
Good to
don't see
know,
that.
going forward. Okay, thank you.
I would just say, I did meet with Bill, and we talked about this. I sat in training just 2 weeks ago, hearing horror stories of what are going on in other parts of the country, and the training and the planning, we pray we never have to use, because it becomes incredibly chaotic. And so I appreciate where we're at. I pray we never have to use it. But I do think we need to look at where we're going in the future in preparedness. I know that several years ago, there were things that were being done in terms of debris management, identifying things in coordination with the Solid Waste Management District. I don't know if those things need to be updated or not.
Something we talk about every year.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, and our events here are growing as well. I mean, now I'm involved heavily with Corn School, the Shipshewana Light Parade over there. I mean, things are growing here too. I mean, we see it on the local level, not just the larger cities. And at the local level, our resources are minimal. You know, so we have to have those relationships. And that's why, like, for Shipshewana, I just talked about with Ryan last week, we had a meeting. I've already reached out to the state, and we have things ready for that. Just things that we do that we can bring in that goes through EMA that people don't really realize. It's all done in the background. It's all done quietly. You know, it's not something that gets put in the newspaper, you know, or anything like that. It's just stuff that happens. It has to happen to keep everybody safe, and that's the ultimate goal. Any other questions?
Good.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
All right, the highway department is next.
Bum, ba-bum, bum, bum, ba-bum, bum. Does that help?
I wear like a vampire outfit next to me. Okay, so you get me first for 11:35.
Darren, you have to speak clearer. You're really hard to hear.
I
on the
know. I
big
mumble
things.
and I talk really quiet.
So talk slower and louder.
I had 2 caffeines. You get me first. 11:35. We I did,
Page 45.
oh, page 45. Tell you page people. We did several transfers about a month or two ago. I think it was 2 months ago. So, the big change in 1135 for 2027 is we added a couple line items for overmatch money for Bridge 49, which construction will start late next year, AKA construction. And then also Bridge 58, which will not be constructed until 2029. So, unless you have other questions, I think that was about it for 1135. No? Crickets? Doing well? I passed? the
You pass.
Speaking test? Okay, now you get Aaron.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, first of all, I'd like to talk about our recommendation for wage increase. I haven't heard anyone else say this, but I haven't been able to hear everyone. I would propose a 2% wage increase with a 3% perf paid from the council. I think that 5% would be good. My proposal on that is attracting new people and retaining old ones. Interviewed a lot of people that come to us, when they see that benefit that the employee's paying the 3%, that's some sticker shock that gives them reservation not to join our department. So if you look at other county entities, government entities, a lot of them, the employer is paying the 3% for the employee. I think that's something to consider. If not, I would propose a 5% pay increase across the board for the whole department. Let's see, we'll start with Fund 1000, and then I'll try to work them in order, Kathy. Fund 1000 for the landfill, we got 75,000. That'll do our required test for IDEM for the year. We've got 2 different agencies that do testing out there. That should get us through 27 for that.
Do we see an end to that? At one time, they had an ending point for that landfill, but
Post-closure is 29, right? For, yeah. So I think it's in the fall of 29 is post-closure. We will be bringing that to the commissioners at some time and see what they'd like to do with the property. There's a whole list of requirements, do, can'ts, and do nots. And we'll let that panel decide what they think's best. As long as the highway's not taking care of it, I think it's a win for all of us. Because there's a lot to it other than the funding you're seeing going towards it.
I think there's a lot more do nots than there is you can.
Correct.
That's correct.
Darren did talk about 1135, so we'll skip to the next one. Fund 1169, local roads and streets. So we're asking for 814,000 in this line item. That's gonna get us 2 dump trucks upfitted with the hydraulic packages, plow lights, basically assembled, ready to go to us.
43, okay.
Yep. Couple things, this is substantially bigger than last year. Part of that is last year we only asked for 1 truck and a paver. Seeing where we are with truck-wise, I think it's best in line to get back with 2 if we can. Please note that this price is gonna be if we order before the end of 26. Started 27, they're gonna have emissions change on DEF. Could be over 15% increase to each chassis. ordered after that. So this number could go up if we do not order by the end of '26. 15% each chassis. So they're coming. We don't know when they're coming, but we were told to start at '27, anticipate 15% increase for the chassis side of things.
So if you put this in the budget in '27, can we get it ordered in '26?
That's exactly my goal is, once it's officially adopted, hopefully have it ready in RFP to have it bid out, brought in, and in line for '27, so we don't incur that cost.
Gotcha.
Sheriff does the same thing with his vehicles.
Okay.
So if we will order these now, we won't get these until the third quarter of next year, just the chassis side.
You have to wait till you adopt in October so
Yep.
that you know the money's in place. And you probably should wait until the state approves the budget, which comes after that.
Hey, Aaron, on this 1169, the 814, that's for underbodies and beds and everything.
That's correct, yep.
What's, back up to, back in your budget on truck equipment,
Yep.
what's that for?
So I can
300,000?
skip to that if you want. That was a bigger increase to 770. Is that what you're talking about, truck equipment? 1176, 0532 or 0531?
0532.
Yeah. I can skip to that if you want. That's actually for, where are we at?
Actually, page 41,
We're talking truck equipment.
line
Other equipment.
Yeah.
40116.
Okay. That's gonna, so what we're asking for that, at that $300,000 mark, last year we had 258, so we're replacing two medium duty trucks, pickup trucks, and we're trying to get another heavier duty patch truck, and that will include our winter dump truck blades that is in that same line item. So that's gonna be replacing 3 trucks and winter blades, carbide, come out of that specific line item. Again, they're gonna be replacing things. Our fleet's not growing. It's just a matter of replacing what's worn. All right. I'd like to go to the next fund of 1173, the restricted. We kept bituminous at 2 million. So we're a little more optimistic that we're gonna have availability to better product and less setbacks next year. Something I do wanna note, in '24 and '25, we did ask for the 2 million, but as you can see, the expenditures, they were down. Part of that was we had equipment issues, and then the other part was not being able to get the material the right time of year. Rather than put something down that's wrong, we'd rather give it back, ask for it when we need it, or when the time's right, than try to put something on the road that we're not sure if it's gonna work. So I think we're gonna stick with that mark for now, be a little more optimistic for 27. Yeah, this is 26. And if we need more money, things are going good, maybe ask for it, but again, doing it the right way is important for us, not just putting something on the road. Another increase, subcontractors, it's a slight decrease, but that's still a big number. We're requesting 150,000 for subcontractors. That amount includes up to 10 large culvert replacements countywide that we subcontract out, and gives us a little room for flexibility in case something happens, such as this year. We got Clink shooting tar for us because our new distributor that's under warranty has a big hole in the middle of the tank. So chip seal still goes on because we have the appropriate funding, so. I think the last thing to mention that we have not did traditionally is, we put CCMG in here for 2028. We put the amount of 400,000, that would cover our portion of the match, if we were to receive that in 2028. So, you know, we could bid it out, do a smaller project, and not necessarily have to come ask council for, the big numbers that they like to hear. Any questions about 1173? All right, we'll go to 1176, Department 053. Or, I'm sorry, Department 0530. So everything in this department is pretty much the same except for the very last line item, which is computer program. Something the office manager and I and Theron have really tried to fix is we're trying to get the right software up front. What I mean by that is we can minimize double entry, we can keep our asset inventory update, and help with fleet maintenance. We've got a lot of things that are just put in the spreadsheets that work for so long, but if you're putting the same data in over and over 3 or 4 times, 2 or 3 people are doing it, there's technology there available that we need to utilize. It's actually counterproductive. So we want to try to get the right software that works for us before we just commit to something. So that's why that number is increased. Any questions about that department? All right, we'll go to 1176, Department 0531. This would be the one that probably has the most questions. So through, basically, we're asking for a reinstatement of assistant supervisor. This would give our department a true number 2. We've tried, Theron and I have tried many approaches. We tried shifting duties. We still have gaps and shortfalls, is the truth. We've looked at other surrounding counties, Steuben, Noble, DeKalb. What we're proposing is what they actually do. Steuben actually has a superintendent, assistant supervisor, and 4 foremen, 1 in each quadrant. Obviously, we don't want to grow too fast. We understand things are conservative, but this is going to improve the operations side so we can focus on the more of the administrative long-term goals that we're just not hitting, just to be honest. We got a lot of shortfalls that we could turn things around on if we truly had focus on improving those areas instead of just trying to get through today, do it right, be accurate. Dollar for dollar, this would be one of the best investments we did in our department in a long time. Having that true number 2, someone to count on, will help alleviate a lot of day-to-day burdens and allow us to focus on meetings, other growing structure, safety, training, things that we should be doing now at a higher level versus where we are. Financially, wage-wise, we would put this assistant supervisor above foreman between where our pay is. So it's basically the stair approach. They would fall right there and right there below us, but above the foreman.
How many years have you been gone? That position has been eliminated.
November 7th, 2022. That's when I took my position, and that's when we tried to make change. We tried about everything, and I can tell you, obviously, if as things are conservative, if it was something I didn't think we would need right now, I wouldn't ask, but I can tell you, there's a lot of shortfall, a lot of different areas, a lot of people doing a lot of different things. We're actually working more overtime than we ever have. It's not just winter now. There's summer jobs going on where there's sinkholes, culverts need to be changed. It is constant planning here at work and outside work just to be where we are.
So the north foreman and south foreman are blank. And then we
Correct.
have a foreman
Yep,
that looks like it's twice their salary plus an increase.
yep,
So it appears at first that you've eliminated the north and south foreman, but instead you've rolled them into equal foremans distributing across the county.
correct, yep. So again, I'm gonna beat Steuben County's drum. They got 4 foremans and 4 quads. That's not something we can do or take on at this time. To me, having a number 2, someone who can help dictate the day-to-day fires, be the go-to for those guys when we're not in meetings, is gonna substantially help us immediately. Those foremen are gonna be working foremen. They're not just gonna be sitting in the office. So we're actually gonna be adding those foremen to the crew. They are gonna be out in the field all the time, being the one to answer the questions. The foreman will no longer be office positions in any way, shape, or form. The assistant supervisor, yes, I would see his duties split, half office, half in the field. But this will help alleviate communication. What I mean by that is, currently, like I said, if we're in a meeting, we're still getting bothered with questions. It's kind of tough. We've been short-staffed since last November, off and on, for multiple reasons. This will help fix some of that issue too, having additional resources out there, getting the answers we need in a timely manner, and having more bodies in the field.
So are positions filled now?
What's that?
Are positions filled now?
They are now. We do got, we've had FMLA and workman's comp and newer people obtaining license. So there's a lot of development going on. We're not full stride, far from it, but there's a lot we need to improve on.
How is the CDL program working? Is it a plus, a minus? Have we retained all of those employees or some of them left? Where's that at?
So we have retained them all except for one, but I'm optimistic to say October, November, as soon as we have an opening, we do have a handful of qualified people. The person that left does want to come back and join our team. We have not had anyone leave that has taken the course. We're pretty lucky there, actually.
Yeah.
And recently, we did find one closer and more affordable to do. $1,000 cheaper to be exact, and Fort Wayne versus Indianapolis. So we don't have the overnight accommodations.
I'm just curious if you're gonna put your foreman on the crew in that. I see that your overtime did go up. Wouldn't that feasibly go down if you have more people out helping?
Well, yeah, and I think part of the reason we put it up, because if wages go up, we may get less hours, but it actually take just a little more. It would be nice to be minimized to very few hours, and I'm hoping with a better projection, a better forecast, instead of, last-minute culverts or 7-inch rains where we got 6 emergency culverts. If we can get some of these changed before we get that weather, not in overtime season, we would be ahead, but we did keep it up just because we weren't sure where wages would be. This is one category we'd like to give back, always. This isn't one you ever want to supersede.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Again, I know, right, things are conservative, there's a lot of uncertainty. I would not be asking for this if I didn't think it was a need or make a difference. I just think dollar for dollar, this can make the biggest difference in our department in a long time. I think we'll move on to 1176 Fund 0532 Department. I think the first thing you're gonna see on this page is the gas, oil, and lubricants. You know, we got that at $500,000. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. Again, those costs are going up. It was mentioned before. Something we are hopeful for that I do want to mention is if we do get a new building and we do have fuel on site, I think this could bring this cost down. I don't want to say significantly, but a little savings would be a lot for everyone. So I think the next big item, we already kind of talked about truck equipment at that 300,000 mark. That's going to be 3 truck replacements and winter blades. But I think the next big item is going to be down to other equipment where there's a significant increase from last year to this year. So $770,000, that's a lot of money. So what that would be is 3 pieces of equipment. So that would replace, we got a wheel loader, 2008 Cat wheel loader that's at our pit. It's just unreliable. It was unreliable last winter. The problems continued this summer. We got a replacement cost price. As Jeff would know, you get in the winter and you can't load salt, you got a big issue. So that's a big concern of mine. We've put, I don't know, $60,000 in this thing over the last year and a half, and it's still not right. It's not trustworthy, it's not dependable. Again, you get in the winter, you can't get product loaded. A lot of people are angry. This is one I would say is in need.
How old is that thing?
2008. You get one thing fixed, two other issues break. The other big ticket item would be a, where are we at? Road grader. So one of our road graders is doing really well. In 2020, we spent $65,000 in each getting them refurbished. However, one of them now has transmission issues, electrical issues, hydraulic issues, fuel tank issues. And the last 2 times we've taken it out, we've had to just try to get it back. About $140,000 we could have it refurbished, or for about $300,000 we could replace it with something similar but not as name brand as that. Is the best way I could describe it. I think we could get by with one grader. I mean, if we needed to cut something, I think we can make one work. It's always nice to have a second one if you need to grade and berm. But again, I understand how things are conservative. The last piece of equipment would be a new broom. So my predecessor brought a used broom because that's all we could afford at the time. We've bought it from a used rental program. Since then, we've replaced the engine, the hydrostatic transmission, pump. The cab won't seal properly. We still have multiple electrical and joystick issues, and it's simply not reliable. And that's a cost around $100,000. So,
How much is that, or how old is that one?
well, I would say 2020 it was bought used. I'm not saying new is always the goal, but buying used comes with associated risk. We use 2 brooms for chip seal, 2 brooms for horse trough. If you guys haven't seen our chip seal, it's very important we have 2 of them. We cannot do what we do without 2 of them. We did get one last year, and it's been great. They made the engine swap better, so I would hope that we could get one to match that, make it better for our fleet maintenance program, and moving forward, not having to have it towed in or broke down and start scrambling what you can do to keep things moving.
Those, go back up the graders, they've been there for a real long time.
Yeah, 1998 is when 1997 and 1998, I think they were purchased back to back according to the records.
Yeah, they were.
And again, if we can make one work for another year, we'll try to do so, but,
They've gone 11 years from now.
you know, we got 192 miles of gravel road that someone always needs graded.
We could have a grader out all day, every day of the year, and we would still get phone calls. Just saying, if you cut one back, it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, and part of the other issue is that you can have all the fancy, nice equipment, but if you don't have enough staff properly trained to run it, it doesn't mean nothing, so they kind of go hand in hand. You guys got any questions or comments? I know that's a lot.
Well, you explained it well.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, you do think that you can get these 3 pieces of equipment, the necessary upgrades for $770,000?
Yep, so I did get some rough ballpark prices from outside vendors, multiple ones, and I did an average. If we were speccing it out, what we looked for, and that's where I came up with these numbers.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because we do not want to ask for additional. It's very important we do our homework first. All right, that's it. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is maintenance.
How are you? Good.
So good.
I'd like to stand up here and say nothing's much changed in my budget, but unfortunately, that's not the case today.
A little louder, Gary.
Okay, I'll do my best here. But there's a few items on here that I have changed. In front of you, you've got the budget here. If you look down through there, I really didn't go hog wild on the budget, except for down there at account 341 utilities. That we got hit pretty hard this year with it, and I have a feeling next year is going to be just as bad. So I increased it, but not a lot. Because I've been paying the electric bill, and the electric bill did go up quite a bit just on the electric side of things. So also too, if you look at account 30236, I increased that, and if you look at the notes, I don't know if you have the notes on beside there or not, but the last couple of years I've been working on the annex building here, getting the basement done, getting the main floor done. I'm still not done. Probably next couple of months it will be done. The bathrooms are getting updated and things like that. But next year, starting first of the year of next year, I'd like to start on the courthouse, doing some maintenance over there as well, updating the basement of the courthouse. I want to get that done starting first of the year. So I did run some numbers, get that accomplished. I've got a couple parking lots that need sealed, cracks that need filled and sealed next year. Also, too, the roof of this building here, we had that done just about 10 years ago. And the warranty is running up. So in April of next year, the Shetler Construction did it 10 years ago. And to maintain that warranty, they'll come in and do what they do, you know. But that way it's still warranty for another 10 years. So, and that's due in April. So I ran the numbers on that and got the for the courthouse, the parking lots, and then the rooftop here is going to cost around $40,000, $41,100. So that to be said, also too, if you look at the bottom, the account number 31306. I was managed to cut that in half, that budget there, the trees. I got 2 trees coming down this year so far, and 1 next year is on the schedule for next year. So overall, it all balanced out about the same, except for utilities and the repair maintenance building, which is account 30236. Those are the biggest ones hit. But there was a few here I increased just because the cost of stuff is going up. Can't help it. You know, it is what it is. And then for as far as pay increase, you know, the last time I checked, you know, our cost of living has went up 3.8%. And so I don't think 5% is way out of line. That would be keeping up with inflation. That'd give us a 1.2% raise. So, you know, I don't think 5% is way asking too much. So, do you have any questions for me?
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Gary. All right, next is a Public Defender Board. Lynn?
Mr. Hanson's doing it as well.
Oh,
Hello, good morning. My name is Lynn Bowen. I am currently the president of the Public Defender Board, and I did not produce the budget. I'm going to let somebody else that knows more about numbers give you the budget numbers. But thank you for your time, and we have our Chief Public Defender here today, James Hanson. So, here you go.
thank you.
Not a whole lot to report on our end. We had a couple areas of significant savings from last year's budget. One of those being office furniture, because with the new office, we had to have a decent amount to, you know, furnish it, and we don't need that anymore, obviously, because we have the furniture. So we were able to recoup some money from that line item. Also, we had done a 2-year contract for a case management system. We piloted that, and I caucused with my staff, and they determined that there's a not ideal but functional system that's available through the Insight modules from the Supreme Court that doesn't cost us anything. And the staff determined that utilizing that, even with its deficiencies, was adequate, and that we didn't really need the case management system. So we do not intend to renew that contract, which saved us another $10,000 from last year's budget. So we reallocated the savings from last year to our most important line items. We increased 3 of the contracts in the budget so that our attorneys have the compensation that gives them also the case limit caps, so we don't run into problems with running out of capacity with our attorneys to handle cases. Otherwise, we have estimated amounts for litigation expense like depositions and things. We have estimated amounts in our line items for appellate expenses like transcripts. And then we do have the supplemental fund, which I just carved out some basic categories for appropriations purposes, but those funds are there for sort of emergency use, and there's statutory constrictions on what we can and can't use that money for. But we at least have some appropriation buckets established so that we things that we would anticipate might be a crisis or whatever are available from that supplemental fund. We're we're hoping the judges will start imposing those supplemental fees more consistently so we can build that fund and have that money available for, crisis issues, like if we have another one of the Tofiga trials and have a bunch of costs associated with that or something, the supplemental fund is really helpful to have for those extraordinary moments. So other than that, I think the budget is just about 3,000 more than last year, and that was only because I built in a 3% increase for staff, because that's historically in the last few years been sort of what we've been doing. I would not oppose the reports I've seen of a request for 5. I think that'd be great. But we just, in this particular budget, I only built in a 3% increase. So if we did 5, we'd have to increase by a little bit more. Otherwise, we're pretty much holding our own and trying to stay on budget for where we've been and not really asking for anything more.
So you talked about on the contracts that you were increasing them for the case cap. Is that why they're different amounts depending on the public defender?
Last year I tried something different. There was some concern, legitimate concern, and also from a management standpoint, case management standpoint on my end, the way our contracts were, we just had equal buckets, but we did not have equal allocation cases. So we had attorneys that were being paid the same amount to do roughly 2/3 or half as many cases as other attorneys. And so what I did is I did an analysis on the case counts that were coming through with the court statistics that I have available to me, and we determined which courts had what kind of volume of cases. And then in order to reduce the amount of conflict with attorneys needing to be on 2 floors, Monday's our big day too, right? So the courts get a little upset when I've got an attorney downstairs that needs to be upstairs or vice versa. So we worked it out to where there's 2 attorneys dedicated to circuit court, 2 attorneys dedicated to superior court, and a 3rd attorney that is dedicated to just juvenile matters. And so those contracts were specifically built around the anticipated case counts that each attorney would carry. So the amounts are different because we anticipate them getting a caseload that is different. The bulk of our cases are in superior court, so the 2 attorneys that are in superior court are the bigger amounts because we need that bandwidth to cover all of the stuff that goes through superior court. The other 3 contracts are all in circuit court and are built around the anticipated numbers. And those are the 3 contracts that actually got increased. I did not increase the superior court contracts. We only increased the circuit court contracts to make sure we had plenty of bandwidth for juvenile matters and for the matters that were going through circuit court.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming in. I don't see Alf.
I was gonna say, next up is the health board. I don't, oh, there we go.
Oh,
Hola.
Hey, hey.
Dr. Garcia's not here today. It's me. I am Jackie Feller, and I am the Health First Indiana coordinator at the health department. So I have been entrusted to present Dr. Garcia's information. Really? That's what I get for knowing people. Down, please. Thank you. So Dr. Garcia said that you have already received the itemized of each of our buckets.
Yes.
So what you're receiving now is just Dr. Garcia's summary of each of those buckets. The first one being 1159, the primary health department fund. Really the only difference there is the adjustment for a 3% increase. But we would be supportive of the 5%. I mean, it's built in our budget that we could still handle that. So if you have any questions about that, Dr. Garcia would love to answer those on his return to office. The next one is 1161 local public health services, which is essentially the Health First Indiana line item. And we have reduced that amount quite a bit. We are heading into legislative session to see what is going to happen with public health spending in Indiana. So we continue to try to make our carryover from 2024 and 2025 last as long as possible. And I can answer any questions on that bucket. Like, that's my job. So
At some point, are they going to say, you can't carry over, you need to spend it?
well, we hope not. I mean, when Health First Indiana first came out, they said, this is your money without restriction.
Okay.
And then in 25,
Wait a minute.
we got the restriction to say it can only be for legal citizens of the United States residing in Indiana. That's been the really only restriction, but I'm coming to find that legislators can change their mind.
Okay. And you have somebody from Health First Indiana coming to visit soon, do you not?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'll give
So
that little spiel.
They might give you some more guidelines.
Well, I mean, that's our big opportunity, right? To give those positive recommendations that it's working well here in LaGrange County, and you want me to continue with the job.
So for right now, 1161, you can use it as you see fit.
Yes.
With a few restrictions.
Yes, with
Okay.
that restriction of legal residents in the United States and Indiana.
Normally they have a time frame. That's why I wanted to ask. So, okay.
Yes. The next bucket would be our 1168, which is local health maintenance, which is a carryover or renaming of essentially the tobacco fund. That essentially is remaining the same amount from year to year, is my understanding. With the line item number that it is, we estimate we have another 2 to 3 years that we could be using that fund. And then 4105 immunization donation, that essentially funds clinical supplies for our nursing division. Really the only request that we would make in 2027 for anything would be dependent on vaccine cost. If it increased, we would have to return to ask for money to be appropriated for that adjustment. So overall budget is down 4 to 5%. So that's why I say we could accommodate that 5% if you guys saw fit. And then the last thing I have to say is about the visit that Karen alluded to. Dr. Weaver will be here in this space August 27th from 9 a.m. to 10:30. This will be her second round of visiting counties, every county in the state of Indiana, to talk about public health, specifically support for Health First Indiana and the progress that we're making here within the county. I will share, and then hopefully she'll have some good news or maybe some recommendations for all of us to be talking to Tony Isa and Sue Glick about their support of public health spending in Indiana. And like I said before, if you have any other questions other than HFI, Dr. Garcia would be happy to answer those when he gets back.
Everybody ready
I
with
was waiting
questions?
for Campos to say, I don't know why I'm looking at Campos, but I am, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are ahead, but there are people in the room that are after lunch that could go.
So who's ready?
Building department, or, yeah, building.
Building department.
Morning.
Yes, sir.
As far as budget for next year, kept ours pretty much the same.
Thank you.
I did, no changes to anything other than, I did follow the committee's advice of the 5% across the board for the salaries. I would like to touch on a couple things as far as an update from even last year. Last year, you guys were gracious enough to allocate extra funds into Mine Safe Building. And hopefully that you've been able to see the fruits of our labor over the last year. We have been able to attain see fulfillment of many projects through litigation and otherwise that we have been talking about and working on for several years. And from all four corners of the county, we have seen blight properties, abandoned properties, things like that demoed, and most notably the ones in the south end of the county involving the litigation. Of course, everybody hears those, but there's also a lot that goes on that nobody hears about. So we have been very productive, and the funds you guys assisted with that was very, very crucial to that, and we do appreciate that. So.
For unsafe building, that fund, it was a separate fund and it has been depleted this year. So we've budgeted unsafe building in edit, which is page 160. We've budgeted 75,000. So we
Oh,
can
okay.
continue his work.
Okay.
So we've able to achieve everything we set out to, and I still have funds left over to continue working on throughout the end of this year yet even. So we've been very successful throughout the processes of getting these properties, structures removed in the bidding process and keeping everything really tight and being good stewards of the funds.
And we can see the fruits of those labors, and we do appreciate it.
Yes, yes.
Anybody have any questions for Jason? All right, well, thank you. Who's next? Jim?
Assessor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think we're having a hard time hearing everybody back there, so.
Seats up front.
Yeah, y'all can move to the front if you can't hear.
Yeah, these $85 seats up front are free today.
No one wants to be up here. Before I review real quick, I just would like to just briefly mention what the assessor's office does. I remember a few years ago, an employee who had been down the hall for years, way before me, came by and said, "This is the assessor's office and they do taxes." We're like, "But we don't." We do make sure your assessment's fair and equitable. We deal with sales disclosures, and when we do reassessment, we go through each parcel, which is between 27,000, 28,000. In our reassessment, we make sure all the assessments are accurate, the changes are entered. We don't automatically, our field reps go out and they say, "Well, we see this, we see that." We also look on pictometry and beacon to make sure we see what they're seeing and agree that the changes should be made. We work with the building department on permits, and our field reps do go out for the permits to see what is done and what percentage they're done, and then we enter that into our CAMA system as well. We have a close working relationship with the auditor's office, GIS, occasionally the surveyor's office and planning zoning. We do appeals. I'm sure everybody knows about the appeal process. We had approximately 180 appeals this year because the DLJF has raised the cost tables 2 years in a row, which we were not anticipating. During that time, that's a full-time person, a full-time task for one person. We confirm our values and send out the Form 11s. We work with a company that does the flyovers, our aerial flyovers. And we work on splits and combos, hand in hand with GIS and the auditor as well. We work with DNR on classified land when that comes up. We work with the annually assessed mobile homes, making sure they're accurate, getting lists from the mobile home parks. And we send out the Form 2s after that's completed. We do get threatened by taxpayers more than once every year. Another office is calling the security come up, which just happened, I think, last week, just to make sure we're okay, which we appreciate that. We do direct individuals to the elevator, even though they just came up to the second floor. Sometimes they can't remember how to get back to the elevator. And we do reassure people that they are not in the basement, even though they're looking straight across our desk, you know, to see outside. They have thought they were in the basement. I don't know. What we do is not perfect by any means, but we do strive for accuracy. before we roll our values to the auditor's office. And once that's done, there are follow-up spreadsheets that we work on, again, hand in hand with the auditor's office. Let's see. In regards to the budget, I will mention I did take a look. There are 7 heads of the departments in just this building. I just looked at this building. And the assessor's budget comes in number 6 to number 7, the 7 heads of departments. And I think really some of it has to do with what Zach mentioned. I've been here for about 11 years, and over the years, I've heard the previous assessor mention, different heads of departments would get a little bit higher raise for, I don't know, she always called it going over and above, so I don't know if that was your guys' term or just what she said, but I think that's where the difference comes in. The assessor has always gotten the same raise as everyone else, 3% or 5 or 4, whatever, over the years, so that's never been bumped up. So I'm just throwing that out there. We did, I will look at the budget now. For the general account, we did reduce our staff by 1. And the reason for that is when we used to do reassessment, we would have to print out every property record card so that our field rep would go out and mark on it and then bring it back to us. We would have to take those and enter them and sign off on them, then scan them in. We don't have to do that anymore. They have tablets now, so everything is uploaded into our system. It's not near as time consuming. And with the what else was it? Oh, business personal property has a $2 million cap now. So we did have less filings for business personal property this year. We're going to have a lot less next year. We're going to have a lot less next year with the $2 million cap. So we won't have we'll still be preparing, sending out the forms and letters, but we will not have as much coming in next year. So that takes, what she did extra from that. We obviously have moved around to the employees we have, and we actually are able to stay pretty busy. So on the general fund, that's a little bit. We did do. Went ahead and did witness fees with the cost tables going up. We did have an appraisal last year because more appeals went to IBTR, and so we anticipate that again next year, that we will need appraisals, so that kind of falls under the witness fees.
I was going to ask about that. Again, help me understand what those witness fees are. You said something and it didn't quite connect for me.
Yeah, so if our appeals go to PETA hearing and they settle that, but the taxpayer doesn't agree, then they can go to IBTR to the state. So when that happens, we need an appraisal for each parcel. And if we need, if there's a witness fees like lawyers, if anything comes in for that, I guess our lawyers are paid for though, but I guess it falls under for the appraisals, because I think our appraisal was about $650.
$650 for an appraisal?
The appraisal, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was because it's new. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've used it for.
And there was nothing used, at least as of this printing this year. So this is a brand-new item.
It would be, yes, because when I had it, when I had the appraisal this year, I had to pull it from a different fund
Okay,
because we didn't have that available to us.
okay. Thank you.
I think everything else pretty much stayed the same. Our, last year really was the big change with, you know, having the new contract with our reassessment company. This year, everything has stayed pretty much the same. We did put in for a 5% increase for our employees, or for my employees. And I think that's it.
All right.
If you have any other
On
questions.
the appeals that you had, you said there was 100 and some appeals. What percentage of those were upheld, that the assessment was correct? Or how many of those went in favor of the petitioner?
I do not have that number.
Okay.
I can get that for you, because that is a report that we have to send into the DLGF. So I have that, I just don't have those numbers with me.
Okay. If maybe you could get that to Kathy and then she could distribute that.
Sure, I can do that.
Any more questions for Kim?
No,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have a relatively small budget, so real quick, the 1150 is a self-funded map generating fund, and just want to keep the $2,500 budget line going there for seminars and training. As far as salaries go, just due to the cost of living, asking for a 5% across the board. If anybody is doing a quick math in their head, Karen, I know you kind of are real quick at that. You will see that the assistant, it looks like there's not 5% there, but I had taken $1,500 out of that budget to cover the extra hours and overtime. So I put the $1,500 back in that and added the 5% onto it. And the only change I have otherwise is extra hours and overtime, and that's basically to cover any overtime that I do, since I'm the only hourly department head. Any questions?
Pretty cut and dry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else here that hasn't been up yet?
I can grab the treasurer and the recorder, they're always put on notice that
Okay,
they can be.
great.
Sure.
All right, meow.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Thank you for being flexible.
Sure, no problem. Not really too many changes, other than I just asked for a 5% increase in pay for both my deputy and myself. That's it, unless you have any questions.
Your book rebinding looks like maybe it went to digital. You?
So
Wait a
I
minute.
will have some book rebinding, but it's not, like, it won't be digital.
No, but you, okay, wait a minute. Hold on. So your book rebinding went down, but then you increased your digital project and your microfilming. So you're just moving it from
So
books to,
digital and microfilming and book rebinding are all different items. And so just depending on the projects that I decide to do.
okay, so that's the up and
I
down.
just put money into each category. Projects come along, great. If they don't, it just rolls right back into the perpetuation.
Okay, those are the only ones I saw that went up and down. I was just curious.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions?
No,
No.
All right, thank you.
I have my statement ready. I don't know if you need that today or.
I think we do that at the hearing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Bless you.
The treasurer was busy. If you want to, we can go on to council, edit, convention, visitors, and all that other good stuff.
Well, council's pretty cut and dry. I believe I figured in a 3% increase in pay. Left everything else right where it was at. Anybody have any questions on that?
Nope.
It looked like your first line went up more than 3%.
And I wouldn't argue with Karen.
No, I'm looking at the 80 to the 91.
What did I do there, Kathy?
That does look like more than that.
Yeah, it
I'll
does.
take a look
Because
at
that's
that.
11, which is over
Because
10%.
everything went up a 3%.
Okay.
And I don't think we got an extra councilman.
Numbers would have to be correct, because it should be somewhere around the 83, 84 then, I would think, just quick off my head.
Does it? I don't know.
Just a minute, I'll tell you. It might have been a typo. Let me see.
Hopefully it was yours, not mine.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to call you out, but it just looked like it went up too high.
Nope, that's yours. That's yours. That's all right. We'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll make that adjustment? You put
Sure.
3%?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Ryan, are you doing?
Sure.
a report?
So convention and visitors and recreation, I think we put in 2 million. This is an up to number, just a line item. This year, if everything holds true, we'll be collecting 1.7 million roughly. And that reflects the 3% increase that went into effect. When was that, Kathy? I mean, it'd be part of the year.
Was it July, August of last year?
Yeah.
I think August, but
But we don't have the full year. I don't think if this
it
whole
was a
year.
partial year in 25.
Okay. 5? Okay.
And then
all
we'll
right.
have it all of
Okay.
26, but we're not there yet because.
Okay.
We're still at 26.
So anyway, we put in 2 million. Feels like it's plugging away and still collecting, but it's, this is just an up to number, and it's what we collect from the hotel innkeeper's tax that goes primarily to the Convention and Visitors Bureau for marketing and bringing more people in.
All right.
If I can just add that there's an interesting thing. I've been working with Sonia. They got a $4,000 grant from the Indiana Arts or something like that. And we are working on a narration, first of all, out at Chief Shipshawana's Memorial, where people will be able to either take their phones on a QR code or dial a number, and there's a narration that will be there of about 3 to 4 minutes about his life and his significance, and the fact that Hezekiah and Sarah Davis were great friends, talk about the By the way, did you figure out I'm writing the script for this?
You're narrating it.
I'm not doing the narration, but I'm at least doing the script. But that's going to be a great thing. They've also applied for another grant that we're waiting to hear on that will do similar things along the Haw Patch Trail and other areas in the county that I think are going to be just a really great thing. So,
Yeah, hats off to Sonia. She does a great job and keeps us all hopping and so, yeah, good things.
it is good things.
All right, thank you, Ryan. I think maybe we'll take care of some business. Approval of the 2027 meeting dates. Kathy handed those out.
Those were sent to everybody.
Yes, we had them at one time.
Does anybody need a copy?
Oh, I'd like a copy. I don't know.
Just ran out.
Oh, okay.
I have it brought up, I'm
I'll
fine.
take it on my phone. Take a picture with my phone.
You guys need down there?
Ooh, I don't know if that date's gonna work for me.
Need to worry about it for a year anyway.
So it looks like,
Take your own beer.
So as you can see, it like normal, it's the second Monday of the month unless the Monday falls on holiday, then it's moved to Tuesday.
so there's just one bump for a holiday, it looks like.
It's just October.
Correct.
I would make a motion to adopt the county council meeting schedule as presented for 2027.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the meeting dates for the 2027 council meetings. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I do have one beer.
Okay.
One way or another.
Additional appropriations.
Okay, those were sent to everybody, advertised on Gateway.
Is there any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the additional appropriations. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to waive second reading?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to waive second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next up is transfers.
Again, those were sent out to you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the transfers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Transfers don't need a
Okay.
waiver. Just additionals and salary ordinances. I do remember a couple of things.
You're a good man, Ed. All right, there's a memorandum of joint executive session.
Okay, this is for your joint executive session that was on August 3rd.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the memorandum of joint executive. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And the minutes from the July 13th meeting.
Here, should I sign this?
You can approve minutes even if you weren't here, you're just approving them as they've been presented to you.
Okay, everybody should have got the minutes from the July 13th meeting. Any questions?
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Kathy, do you want to do yours before lunch?
I can do that.
That'll work.
my budget, page 150 if you guys want it. Just ask for the recommended 5%. Reduce the extra hours overtime a little bit. Everything else was stayed the same. On Fund 1181 plat book, kept the appropriation the same. That is for maintaining our books, so if we have a scanning project or something like that. I don't have one planned at this time, but I have the appropriation there in case we need it. Fund 1216, auditors ineligible deductions. We use that to help pay for some of the expenses of our office supplies, postage, any membership and dues. So it increased just a little bit because the expenses have gone up. I did put travel and mileage in there as well because those costs go up. Fund 1217 is county elected officials training. This fund funds those 6 different elected officials. So I just budget for that every year as everybody's going to conferences. So they're training expenses. If you want me to slow down.
Nope, you're good.
1148, drug-free community. So we appropriate for it. There's money that comes in through the courts, and then it's sent on to drug-free LaGrange County. I have to think for a minute what the group was, that, and then they disperse it out. They have their own board, and they decide on where they're gonna send the money. 1149. So this is economic development fee. When you approve abatements and you have them pay a percentage of their tax savings, this goes into this fund. And if you'll notice, we haven't spent anything out of there, so we do have the appropriation. If you guys have an economic development project you would like us to spend that money out of, that would be a source. We budget for it, but we haven't had any expenditures. It doesn't grow very fast, but there's still some money in there. 1193, Sheriff's Pension Trust. That's money that comes through from the clerk's collections, through the courts. We have like 10,000 we're able to budget to help offset the pension, the sheriff's pension cost. The CASA fund, 1213, that's just a pass-through. Money comes from state, and I just have to pass it straight on to the CASA. 2505, law enforcement continuing ed. Those are comes from the clerk's office, tickets, when they pay tickets, $4 from the tickets goes into these individual Shipshewana, LaGrange, county and town of LaGrange, all these different sheriff's departments. They apply for the funds, and then we just pass it through. So we don't do anything with it other than pass it through.
I think there's just 3.
Fund 4954, anti-discrimination education. That is money budgeted in case we have a project to come up for that. And then it's on to economic development, Fund 1112. So this is, I just based it off of last year's and the projects that we had. You're giving $15,000 to the 4 unincorporated towns. The unsafe building, like I said, is in this one. Justice repayment to major moves is in here, Justice Building. And as you'll note, maybe it's not even in this one, but the other one, the 200 North project is done, so there's no repayment on that anymore. That's all I got out of that one. Any questions on that one? We have a comprehensive plan for edit that gets updated it has to be at least every 5 years, but we update it, so projects that come along that meet that plan can get paid from edit funds.
All right, is that all you got?
That's all I got.
All right, we got the
That's
treasurer
good.
here.
Yep, Connie, yeah.
Got the treasurer. 42. Good morning.
Okay, mine's a simple one compared to many of them. I do have some increases. Obviously, the wages will be dictated by the whole county, so. I did ask for 6%, but I'd be happy with anything that you guys would offer us. I did not change anything down until postage, and I asked for a significant increase in that. I did not budget enough last year for it, so I had to move around from other parts of my budget, from the taxes going up, or the postage going up, plus with all the splits that are happening in our county, that's that many more parcel bills that go out. So I am asking for a 13.6% increase on that, and I've based that on how much it's gone up each year, and then how much the postage is scheduled to go up for this year, or next year, and so on and so forth. So I'm going from 12.5 to 14.2 on that one, because I had to move 850 around in my budget to increase it to 13.350, so now I'm going to 14.2. Our 30512 account for our Easy Scan, I averaged that on how much it's gone up each year. There again, I did not budget enough last year by $25, so I adjusted for that. And then our membership dues, I increased by 5%. That goes up based on, that is calculated on the treasurer's salary. So when the salary goes up, then the dues go up. So altogether, my budget, I have an increase of 6.35% that I'm requesting. That does include salaries, which there again would be adjusted by what you guys recommend. Any questions?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I think at this point, we'll take a break for lunch, and we'll come back after lunch.
Before we do, may I just say, I regret that I will not be able to be back after lunch, but I have met with the prosecutor, and we will hear again a request for additional help there. That had been requested last year, and I think it's something we should probably consider this year. Especially with all that's happening in the public defender's office. And I think it's something we need to seriously look at. So with that, thank you.
Thank you.
Explain to him, the prosecutor, that I wasn't ditching him.
I met with him as well. I concur with what Harold says.
Yeah.
So we'll plan to resume
At one.
12:45. Is that okay?
They may not, the ones that are after lunch may not know that.
We'll resume at 1 o'clock.
Awesome.
Thank you. I know it delays the day, but it just.
I booked till 6, so. Good.